I'm going to show you how I do cultured stone. It's always good to try and dry fit a piece first. I'm not using the proper trowel. I'm using actually a linoleum trowel or tile trowel, but any kind of trowel will work. Just kind of spread the mud, and what I did, I added an additive to this mud to make it more sticky. It costs about $13 for the bottle, but you can buy an additive at your local lumber store to make it stick so your stone will not fall off the wall. These flat, long stones are easier to keep on the wall. But anyway, again, I'm dry fitting the stone. Once again, I'm dry fitting another stone. Once I see it's going to fit properly, I can apply some more mud. And there are gaps in the stone which will be filled in after it's all said and done, but I'm just getting the large pieces in right now. If you're particular, you wouldn't have this many gaps. You'd have a tighter fitting stone. And I probably should have taken more time, but I'm not a professional. I just do this once in a great while. The mortar is, you see, it's more spacing than a lot of times you would like. Push firmly, hold it, smush it up and down. Always want to have extra mud. Then what I do is I grab a wet paintbrush, dip it in water, shake it a little bit, and just kind of use mash the mud in place, and it really does a pretty good job. And just keep it wet so you can get the mud in place. Try not to drip it on the stone. It's always good to do this cultured stone from the top down, because that way if you drip, you can kind of wash the stone off with a wet brush, get the mud off, and if it drips down below, it's not going to fall on the other stone. I'm just kind of mashing in the mortar so it looks fairly smooth. And then I'm hitting the stone with a wet brush to get the extra mortar which is on the stone so it doesn't look sloppy. I've seen professionals do this, and they leave mortar on the stone. It looks terrible once it dries. So again, a wet brush is a key. Hit the stones if they got mortar on them, hit them with a wet brush. It'll kind of pretty much clean the mortar right off. Once it's dry, it's almost impossible to clean off. Especially on cultured stone, you can't use muriatic acid because that will eat the finish off the stone. I use a little putty knife to add some extra mortar in the smaller areas. It does a pretty nice job. Just get a wet brush again, shake it off a little bit, and just push the mortar off the knife into the cracks, and it really does a nice job for these areas you've got to add extra mortar.
Can't see dipping in the water, but maybe yes.
And again, you'll hit the stone with a wet brush to clean it off, else you have a mess. That's pretty much the idea behind it. It's not too much involved. It's pretty simple, actually. It just takes a little practice.
Do the trick with the scraper again.
Again, I'm by no means a professional, but this will give some amateurs a good idea how to do it, and you see how well that washes the mortar off the stone. It does a good job. Previously, you had the wire mesh on the wall. I use a automatic roof nailer to nail it down onto the wall on the plywood, which I tar paper over the plywood. Then I put the wire mesh down, and then I put the scratch coat on, of course. And that's basically about what it takes. I hope this really helped you. Nothing fancy, but it gives you a rough idea. God bless. Have a good one. Put my foam pad in the